Who wins the league? Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Chelsea, and Spurs have all made bold moves, but only one can come out on top. We'll judge them on three fronts: transfers, tactics, and resilience. And when the scores are averaged, the true pecking order emerges. Let's start where every season begins, the transfer window. Liverpool's first summer under Arne Slot didn't just make headlines, it tore up the record books. Nearly £500 million spent, their most expensive transfer window in history. First came Florian Wirtz, £116 million, the Bundesliga's golden boy, expected to be the creative heartbeat. Then Jeremy Frimpong to replace Trent Alexander-Arnold, Milos Kerkez at left-back, Hugo Ekitike for £79 million, plus young names like Giovanni Leone and Armin Pexi. That alone was eye-watering. But then, deadline day, a British record £125 million for Alexander Isak. 6'4", mobile, clinical, a striker who doesn't just score, but links play, runs channels, and gives Liverpool a modern number 9 they've lacked since Torres. Salah, Wirtz, Isak. Slot suddenly has a front line that looks terrifying. Yet here's the counterpunch. Out went Alexander-Arnold, Diaz, Nunez, icons of the Klopp era stripped away. So the question lingers. Did Liverpool just build the next dynasty or rip out too much too fast? Their number at the end may not be as clear as it looks. And if Liverpool shook the market with record fees, Arsenal answered with precision and depth. Arsenal's window looked smart in July, but by September, it looks near perfect. £257 million spent, 8 signings, and almost every need addressed. Victor Gyökeres, Sporting's 36-goal machine, finally gives them a proper number 9. Eberechi Eze, hijacked from Spurs, adds flair and unpredictability. Zubimendi plugs into midfield for balance. Noni Madueke, Christian Nørgaard, Kepa, all strengthening depth. And now it's official. Piero Hincapié from Leverkusen. Last year, Arsenal already had the Premier League's best defensive record with Gabriel and Saliba. Now, they've secured elite cover. For the first time in years, an injury doesn't automatically spell disaster at the back. Arsenal's squad looks complete, almost too complete. But then comes the question, will stars be satisfied sharing the spotlight? That's why their number may sit just below perfection. If Arsenal chose precision, City's approach was the opposite. Controlled risk, a quiet rebuild that raised as many questions as it answered. Manchester City's summer looked quiet, until it wasn't. Pep Guardiola spent £180 million, not on Galacticos, but on pieces of a puzzle. In came Ryan Ait-Nouri, perfect for the inverted fullback role. Ryan Cherki, Lions wonder kid, brimming with flair but light on defensive work. Tijani Reinders, Milan's midfield engine, and Gianluigi Donnarumma from PSG, a surprise move. A world-class shot stopper, yes, but one whose weakness with the ball at his feet makes him an odd fit for Guardiola ball. They also added James Trafford and teenage prospect Sverre Nypan, a blend of now and future. But look at the exits. Kevin De Bruyne, the architect of a decade. Kyle Walker, leadership at the back. Even Ederson gone, replaced by Donnarumma. Fans are asking, is this really a stronger City, or just a younger one? Pep may have built the future, but has he weakened the present? And while City took risks on potential, Chelsea focused on variety, stacking options in attack while leaving questions at the back. Chelsea, under Enzo Maresca, spent £296 million and somehow made a net profit. Classic Chelsea chaos, but this time with a clearer plan. They brought in Juan Pedro from Brighton, a £60 million forward who links play as well as he scores. Liam Delap, a physical number 9 to stretch defences. Jamie Bino-Gittins, £48.5 million, finally gives them a right-footed winger on the left. Estevan Willian and Kendry Páez, two of South America's brightest teenagers, join for the future. Garnacho arrives, a live wire who can create or finish from the wing. Even Facundo Buonanotte adds depth. On paper, it's a dream for variety. Chelsea now have every profile of forward imaginable. But here's the problem: defense. No new centre-back signed, despite Colwill's injury. Selling Madueke to Arsenal gave a rival an extra weapon. And then there's Garnacho. Talented, fearless, but with question marks over his discipline. Chelsea need consistency, not distractions, and that's a gamble. So yes, they're unpredictable in attack, but still fragile at the back. Is this the birth of a new Chelsea era, or another season of inconsistent promise? And if Chelsea built for tomorrow, Tottenham had to balance today's ambition with the pain of losing their captain. Tottenham's summer was bold, brutal, and a little bittersweet. Thomas Frank came in and reshaped everything. Kudus from West Ham, £55 million, already Premier League proven. Xavi Simons, stolen from Chelsea, one of Europe's best young creators. João Palhinha, steel in midfield, tackles and leadership. Mathys Tel, Danso, Takai, depth and youth. And then, deadline day, Randal Kolo Muani on loan. A French international, pacey, versatile, able to play across the front three. Add him to Kudus and Simons, and Spurs' attack looks reborn. But the hammer blow remains. Son Heung-min gone to MLS. 8 years of goals, leadership, and talismanic moments gone. They chased Gibbs-White, they chased Eze, but came up short. Centre-back depth also looks dangerously thin. So, Spurs did some superb business. But did they do enough to replace a legend and patch every gap? Now that we've gone through all 5 teams, it's time for the numbers, and this is where the surprises begin. We've broken down the transfers, the arrivals, the departures, the implications. Now, here's how they scored. Liverpool, 9 out of 10. Historic spending, Isak transforms the attack, but key exits mean questions remain. Arsenal, 8.5 out of 10. Balanced, near perfect, Hincapié plugs the last hole, but rotation could test harmony. Tottenham, 8 out of 10. Quality additions across the pitch, but Son's shadow still looms large. Manchester City, 7.5 out of 10. Youth and talent added, but De Bruyne's absence leaves a creative void. Chelsea, 7 out of 10. Attack rebuilt with variety, but defensive frailty and Garnacho's discipline questions keep them short. 5 different strategies, 5 different outcomes, and 1 clear winner in the transfer market. Next, we move to tactics, and that's where some of these teams may rise or stumble. Liverpool under Arne Slot look different and dangerous. Gone is Klopp's relentless chaos, replaced with Slot's controlled structure. But don't be fooled, the chaos hasn't disappeared, it's just more calculated. Wirtz has been the heartbeat between the lines, Ekitike presses and runs channels, and Salah still triggers the press. Frimpong bombs forward like a winger, Kerkez tucks inside. It's order with a dash of wildness. The results, 8 goals in their first 3 games. The most in the league. But balance is the issue. Liverpool also conceded 6 in that stretch. The 1-0 win against Arsenal showed discipline, but it still needed a Szoboszlai thunderbolt to scrape the points. So Slot has created an explosive high-risk system. Devastating in attack, still fragile at the back. The big question, can this balance survive 38 games, or will the cracks cost them? Here's what that looks like in the numbers. Shots, 33. XG per game, 1.37. Shots on target per game, 5.67. Touches in opposition box per game, 23. XGA per game, 1.17. And if Liverpool thrive on creative chaos, Arsenal are trying to win by controlling everything. Arsenal's tactics scream one thing: control. In big games, Arteta has gone safety first. At Anfield, they dropped into a mid-block 4-4-2, with 3 defensive midfielders protecting the back line. It worked. Liverpool were neutralised for much of the first half, but control came at a cost. Arsenal looked blunt going forward. Their first 2 games ended with clean sheets, but when the margins tightened against Liverpool, 1 free kick undid them. No plan B, no spark. And that's the paradox. Arsenal spent big on Gyökeres, Eze, Madueke, players built for attacking firepower. But tactically, Arteta hasn't unleashed them. It's balance versus bravery. So, yes, Arsenal look mature, solid, difficult to beat. But are they too afraid to lose when champions need to play to win? The stats back this up too. Shots, 38. XG per game, 1.36. Shots on target per game, 3.0. Touches in opposition box per game, 27.7. XGA per game, 2.7 game, 1.16. If Arsenal live by control, Manchester City are gambling on revolution. Pep Guardiola has ripped up his own playbook. City's summer was about transition. Ait Nouri to invert, Cherki to create chaos, Reinders to carry the ball forward. Even Donnarumma, brilliant shot stopper but clumsy with his feet, is a gamble in a Guardiola system. Pep believes football is faster, more vertical. He wants City to be quicker, less predictable. But so far, the results have been brutal. 2 defeats in the first 3 games. Against Brighton, City dominated an hour, then panicked after conceding. Against Spurs, their press was ripped apart. Rodri said it himself: "We're making kids' mistakes." City aren't controlling games like they used to. The gamble hasn't clicked yet. And here's the tension. Guardiola has never gone 2 seasons without a title. But right now, his evolution looks like weakness, not strength. And the numbers reveal the same story. Shots, 37. XG per game, 1.42. Shots on target per game, 3.67. Touches in opposition box per game, 20.7. XGA per game, 1.33. And while City stumble, Chelsea are searching for their rhythm. Chelsea entered this season with belief, fresh from a Club World Cup win. Under Enzo Maresca, the tweaks have made them more fluid in attack. 7 goals in their first 3 games, second only to Liverpool. It looks like the attack has been fixed, but defense tells another story. No new centre-back despite Colwill's injury, and soft goals conceded already. The same old fragility. And then there's Garnacho. Electric, but with discipline, questions already hovering. Chelsea need consistency, not distractions. They're unpredictable, they're scoring. But when the opposition is ruthless, will Chelsea hold? Or will they collapse the same way they did last year? Chelsea's tactical output makes the picture clearer. Shots, 44. XG per game, 1.74. Shots on target per game, 5.33. Touches in opposition box per game, 28.0. XGA per game, 1.26. And if Chelsea's strength is variety, Tottenham's is adaptability. Thomas Frank has turned Spurs into the Premier League's chameleons. In the Super Cup, he went 3-5-2 against PSG, sat deep, countered and nearly pulled off a shock. Against Burnley, it was 4-2-3-1 with 67% possession, teenagers running midfield. Against City, a hybrid press that strangled Pep's rhythm and ended in a famous 2-0 win at the Etihad. Spurs finally look unpredictable. Kudus is firing, Simons is linking, Palhinha adds bite, and Kolo Muani's arrival adds yet another weapon. But the whole remains. Son Heung-min, their captain, gone. His goals, his leadership, his moments in tight games, irreplaceable. Spurs are deeper, smarter, more adaptable. But are they truly stronger without him? That's what their number will reveal. Shots, 33. XG per game, 1.32. Shots on target per game, 4.0. Touches in opposition box per game, 23.3. XGA per game, 1.58. Now we've seen how each team sets up. It's time to score their tactics. So, how do the tactics stack up when we combine what we've seen on the pitch with the numbers behind the performances? Liverpool, 8.3 out of 10. Explosive going forward, disciplined just enough at the back, but not flawless. Arsenal, 7.8 out of 10. Structured and resilient, but their cautious edge holds them back from a higher ceiling. Chelsea, 7.6 out of 10. The stats say they're flying in attack, but tactical fragility and discipline doubts keep them just short. Tottenham, 7.4 out of 10. Adaptable and clever, yet the sun-sized hole shows up in the data and on the pitch. Manchester City, 7.3 out of 10. Pep's gamble is bold, but the early returns, in both results and metrics, suggest more growing pains ahead. Different philosophies, different outcomes, and it's still too early to crown anyone. Next, we move to health and injuries. Liverpool's medical department has kept the squad impressively lean. Just 2 injuries on the books. The problem? Both were at right back. New signing Jeremy Frimpong pulled up with a hamstring issue in the very first game. Connor Bradley was already recovering from pre-season knocks. Suddenly, a position of strength became a weakness. Slot was forced to consider midfielders like Szoboszlai or Curtis Jones to fill in. Yet here's the twist. Outside of that one position, Liverpool's squad looks remarkably healthy. Gomez is back, Endo is covering gaps, and the squad hasn't shown signs of chronic fragility. So yes, one unlucky cluster of injuries has disrupted Slot's plans, but Liverpool look more resilient than most rivals. Liverpool's health score, 8 out of 10. Small setback in one area, but otherwise a robust squad. And while Liverpool suffer from bad luck in one position, Arsenal's story is all about their stars. Arsenal's title hopes rest on players who are both brilliant and brittle. Bukayo Saka has now had his second hamstring injury in under a year. Martin Odegaard gave fans a scare with a shoulder knock. And Kai Havertz, last season's top scorer, has already undergone knee surgery. The real worry is Saka and Havertz. Saka is the ever-present heartbeat of the attack. Havertz transformed their goal threat last season, and both are vulnerable. Arteta himself admitted Saka's recurring muscle problems are a big concern. And while Arsenal Blue leads away without him, you don't replace his consistency with ease. Arsenal's squad is strong, but the injury pattern among key starters keeps their resilience rating in check. Arsenal's health score, 7 out of 10, strong depth, but their talismans are vulnerable. And if Arsenal fear injuries to their stars, City know what it means to live without theirs. Manchester City have been here before. Last season, Rodri missed months with an ACL tear. This season started with him nursing a groin problem. Pep Guardiola has the deepest squad in Europe, but even he can't hide the fact that when Rodri is out, City's midfield balance collapses. His absence last year was the single biggest reason their control dipped. Phil Foden's preseason ankle issue drew headlines, but let's be honest, he was a rotation player for much of last season. The real crisis is Rodri. When he's sidelined, City rely on Mateo Kovacic to plug the gap. But as last year proved, Kovacic simply doesn't offer the same presence or control. And now, with Ryan Cherki also ruled out until late October, Pep has lost one of his planned creative sparks too. City's resilience isn't about avoiding setbacks, it's about surviving them. But right now, too much hinges on Rodri's fitness. Without him, this side looks vulnerable. Manchester City's health score, 7.5 out of 10. Still deep, but far more fragile than their reputation suggests. Chelsea, though, have already been forced to patch the cracks. Chelsea's summer optimism has already been shaken. Levi Colwill tore his ACL in training, a season-ending blow to their defensive spine. Liam Delap pulled his hamstring just minutes into a game. Cole Palmer is out with a groin issue. Enzo Maresca admitted the squad now has only 2 fit strikers, and when one of them is injured, it's not enough. That kind of honesty tells you everything. Chelsea's response has been to dip back into the market, but it feels like déjà vu. A talented squad, yet too many key players already sidelined. Yes, they've started well on the pitch, but with Colwill out long-term and no reliable defensive cover, this team looks one injury away from another crisis. Chelsea's health score, 6.5 out of 10. Fragile in key areas, already making tactical compromises. And if Chelsea are fragile, Tottenham are downright battered. If you wanted to design a nightmare for Tottenham, it would look exactly like this. Dejan Kulusevski, one of their best creators, gone until the new year after knee surgery. James Maddison, their playmaker-in-chief, out long-term with an ACL rupture. Losing one of them would hurt. Losing both at the same time, devastating. Frank's system thrives on unpredictability. But without Kulusevski and Maddison, Spurs are relying heavily on Kudus, Simons and Son's replacements to fill a void that is frankly unfillable. The squad is deeper than last year. But resilience isn't just about numbers, it's about replacing influence. And right now, Spurs can't. Tottenham's health score, 5.5 out of 10. A squad with options, but robbed of its most creative heartbeat. Now we've seen who's holding together and who's breaking apart. It's time to stack the numbers. So, when you weigh the current injury picture against long-term resilience, here's how it looks. Liverpool, 8 out of 10. A small cluster of bad luck, but otherwise robust. Manchester City, 7.5 out of 10. Depth on paper, but Rodri's fitness and Cherki's absence expose fragility. Arsenal, 7.0 out of 10. Built depth, but too many stars keep breaking down. Chelsea, 6.5 out of 10. Fragile in defense and attack, already adjusting plans. Tottenham, 5.5 out of 10. 2 creative engines gone. Resilience stretched to breaking. The cracks are clear. Some squads can absorb the blows, others are already stretched thin. The full verdict comes when we combine transfers, tactics, and resilience, and rank them from 5th to 1st. Here's the verdict. 5th place, Chelsea. Their attack looks sharper, but defensive fragility and recurring injuries drag them down. 4th place, Tottenham. Adaptable and creative under Thomas Frank, but losing Maddison and Kulusevski leaves too much missing. 3rd place, Manchester City. Depth on paper, but without Rodri, their balance collapses, and their health score shows it. 2nd place, Arsenal. Brilliant recruitment and strong structure, but tactical caution and star injuries hold them back. 1st place, Liverpool. Explosive in attack, resilient across the pitch, and across transfers, tactics, and health, they stand tallest in the title race. 5 contenders, 3 lenses of analysis, 1 combined verdict. But is this ranking spot on or complete trash? Let us know in the comments.